What's up with it? It's your boy Killer again. Told you I was gonna go ahead and get this video up. I wasn't gonna be lazy. I was gonna go ahead and do it. So, what we're gonna talk about today is 5 things I think that you should do before you just get out here and start releasing your music. I do have them written on a list, so you're gonna see me looking away from time to time. I'm not that professional, but I do what I does. But there's things that you need to do before you just get to dropping your music everywhere, because it could be a lot of problems down the line. It could be problems with your fan base because they're not feeling, what you're doing. It could be things of a legal nature that come back and bite you in the butt because out the gate you didn't do what you were supposed to do, and you left open a lot of opportunity for bad things to happen. So we're gonna get into that. This is Brews and Beats, so I gotta have my brew. You know what it is. Please drink responsibly. 21 and over, please. But for real though, the first thing you want to worry about is song splits. You want to make sure. Well, let me explain that first. Song splits is how a song is split up percentage wise between whoever had something to do with that song, producer, writers, whoever. And the more writers and producers that there are on a single track dictates how the percentages are split up. And we'll talk about that more in the next video. I'll get more in depth with it. But you don't want the issue of, I did this work on a song and somebody else is claiming my percentage, because we never had a for real agreement about who was supposed to get what for what they've done. Before you record a word, this needs to be done while you're in the studio for every song that you do. Before y'all leave that studio, it needs to be figured out who owns what, who did what, and who owns what. That way, later on down the line, when the song is popping, you know exactly what you're owed. We got it in writing. They have templates for it on the internet. You can look up templates for song splits, and if you don't have that, write it down on a piece of paper. Everybody signs it. Everybody gets a copy. But you want to have that established so you don't have issues down the line. And honestly, a lot of the legal stuff comes from people just not knowing how much their work is worth on the song. Some people think that their work is worth less. Some think it's more. Let's understand that out the gate. That way it doesn't have to be a conversation again. And we have a better idea of how this works as we progress, as we do more songs. We know, okay, I did this, I'm entitled to that. So you want to make sure your song splits is right. Second thing, samples. There's nothing wrong with using samples at all. I'm not saying that by any stretch of the imagination. If that's how you get down, do your thing, be the best at it. But you want to make sure that you're clearing these samples. You don't want to play I hope they don't find out. You don't want to play that game, because when they do find out, they're going to try and take everything. So clear the samples. It doesn't matter if you're leasing a beat from somebody, if you're making beats yourself, if your homeboy makes your beats, ask, hey man, is there samples in here? So now you can have the conversation of whose responsibility is it to clear the sample. Is it going to be on the producer to clear the sample? Is it going to be on the performer, the rapper, the singer, whoever? Is it going to be on them to go clear the sample? But you want to go ahead and do that before you even lay one word on that track. Because when it comes out and if it pops, you gonna have a problem. They're gonna want a percentage of the royalties, and if you've been making money off of it, they're gonna want a check from you too, buddy. So go ahead and handle that. Go ahead and handle that and get it out the way. I used to use samples when I first started. I don't use them anymore. I got out of that real quick, because I was hearing things and seeing different things like on TV about people using samples. I mean, we can go back to the 90s. Vanilla Ice, Ice Ice Baby. Had that Queen sample in it. Some of y'all ain't old enough for that, I know, but the story is still still relevant. Vanilla Ice had that Queen sample from Under Pressure in the beat. They never cleared the sample. Song popped off. It's banging everywhere. Queen finds out about it. Now they say, hey, we need 50% of the song now, because you didn't come clear the sample with us. They could have went and just made a cash down payment and gave up a few royalties. Then it became a thing of, well, no, we need the whole thing because you didn't do it the right way out the gate. Why have that problem? Why? Clear your samples, man. And then come to find out, there was a guy who wrote on the song who wasn't getting taken care of, and then that's when Suge come through and he's hanging you over a balcony by your ankles, forcing you to give up, you know what I'm saying, your rights to your song. That you know, even though there's elements that other people had a hand in, you went out here and pushed, and you don't want Suge hanging you over the banister or the balcony by your ankles. That shit don't sound good. But you know, just inquire about samples and make sure if there are in the mix, go ahead and take care of it. Get them cleared. Just get them cleared. The third thing, how is your music sounding? We all can't afford to go to the top-notch futuristic studio. You might not have the money to get the top-notch programs for your house or for your home computer if you're working out the house. That's understandable. You have to work within your limitations, but you want to get the best out of what you have. Be real with yourself, man. If it's not sounding right, do everything that you can to make it sound right. Now, there's only so much that you can do, but make sure that it's sounding right, and don't just go by your ear. It's real easy to turn that joint all the way up and you banging out to it on your speakers or your phone or your headphones, and it sounds amazing. It still might not be right. And actually, a lot of times, and I had this issue a long time ago, it might be too loud. You don't want to take away from the experience. You're not just making music for you. You're trying to build a fan base. You want your listeners to enjoy the experience. That's the great thing about music. It's an enjoyable experience, and they should be able to enjoy it the way that they want to. So if they can't turn the music up, because as soon as they hit the play button, it's blasting through the speakers, they're not enjoying it the way that they want to. Because if it's too loud, even if you turn it down, it still don't sound right. The few songs that we have up on this page, if you listen to them, the volume's a little low. It's not like it's super quiet, but the volume's a little low. That's because I didn't have the greatest setup at the time. We were recording in my dining room on open air, no booth, no shield, no condenser mic. I had a stage mic, So when I went back and had the songs mastered, I had to sacrifice volume for clarity. But I would rather have clarity than a whole bunch of volume, because now the listener can turn it up to where they want it to be. So don't just listen to it out your Beats headphones because you got money for Beats headphones. I don't. But listen to it off the computer. Listen to it off the TV. Listen to it in the car. Listen to it in your homeboy's car, because he's probably got different speakers than what you have in your car. So it's going to sound different, over there. And make sure that it's able to be played and listened to on all these different formats equally. Because everybody has different setups. And you want every listener to be able to enjoy your music. So if you got to turn it down a little bit, you got to turn it down. In some instances, you might have to turn it up because it may be too low as it is, but you don't want to pass a certain threshold, because now you're killing yourself. Nobody's going to want to listen to something that's blaring and is about to bust their speakers, because that's how it sounded. It sounded dope to you on your speakers, but it doesn't to them. Also, your lyrics. If your verse ain't right, man, go back and fix that. Go back and fix that. It's okay. You can't get stuck in the idea of everything's dope because I made it. So there's no way that it can be flawed. It's perfect because I'm that guy. It doesn't work like that. Listen to your music. If your verse is thrown off because you got an extra syllable or a full extra word in there that really doesn't have to be there, go back and re-record that verse and clean it up. Make it right. You know, if you can't keep it real with anybody else, keep it real with yourself. You know, your listeners will appreciate that. They're gonna feel it more, because there's plenty of guys that I hear spit, right, and the flow is going nice, it's just going, but then that one little extra syllable or extra word creeps up in that boy and throws everything off. And now you're trying to play catch up because this extra word is throwing everything off. Now you got to try and catch up and get your flow back. It doesn't sound right. Just fix it, man. It's cool. It's okay. Everybody can't one take Jake it. You know what I mean? Go back and fix that. Number 4, and I'm gonna do a video about this more in depth. We're just gonna touch on it today. Royalties. You need performance rights organizations to collect your royalties for you. And if you don't know what royalties are, it's money generated in different ways from when your music gets played and sold and all this other kind of stuff. And there's different types of royalties, so you need more than one company to go get that money, you know what I'm saying, for the music that you've made. You want to have that set up before you put anything in the streets. You don't want to start trying to set up to collect your royalties after you done hit 100,000 streams, because they're not going to backtrack that. They're going to start collecting from the point that you started, from the point that you signed up. So those 100,000 plays, you ain't going to get paid for that, because you weren't signed up when you first put the album out or the first song or whatever it is. So make sure you have a PRO, you know what I'm saying, to hold you down and go get that money for you. Because for an artist, for a music artist, it's like your retirement plan almost. Those are those checks that come as long as you live. And even after you're dead, you still collect some of these royalties. I think there's some royalties that get collected like 70 years after you're dead or whatever. You know, so that's your great grandkids gonna be eating off the work that you did if you pop off. So you want to make sure that you signed up with the PROs that can go get the royalties that you need collected. You know, because I've heard you can collect them yourself, but it's a lot of work, and if you don't have that background, that expertise of collecting royalties, you might get laughed out the building by some of these guys. So just make sure you have your butt covered, you know what I'm saying, so you don't have to worry about issues later on. And the last thing is, where are you going to put your music at? You want to have your music in a few places. I get that, but be selective about where you put your music. You don't want to have your music on 10 different sites. Well, I need a refreshment real quick. Hold on. You don't want to have your music in 10 different places, you know, because one is going to make your stats look terrible, and it's hard to keep track of 10 different places. It is. Managing 10 different accounts at the same time, plus your own personal accounts, is just a bad idea. But it makes your stats look bad. You've got 1,000 plays on 10 different sites. Yeah, that's 10,000 plays or streams or even sales potentially. But when a promoter looks at that, or another artist who might want to work with you, or a producer who might want to shoot you some tracks, and they say, "Ah, man, he's only got 1,000 of them rocking. I don't know if I want to make that move." But say you have the same 10,000 plays, but you've only got them in 2 places. You got 5,000 over here, you got 5,000 over there, or you got 6,000 over here, and however you want to divide it up. Those larger numbers look better and can provide better opportunities for you down the line, you know. So just, and another thing, look at these sites and see how the type of music that you're doing is being respected in that area. You don't want to be a rapper who's trap, placing your music in a place that's predominantly backpack hip hop, and vice versa. You want to be somewhere where the music is going to be appreciated and the fan base is populated by people who are rocking with the stuff that you rock with. You have a better chance for success that way. But oh, pardon, that's all that brew. But I'm gonna get up out of here. Shout out to my homeboys, Jobstown over at My Skin Is My Sin on Blog Talk Radio. He was the first one. I do radio shows from time to time, you know what I'm saying, with my homies. You know, he was the first one to put me out there. I've known dude for years. That's my guy. You know, he's doing big things over there. He had Gilly the Kid interview not too long ago. He had was it Keith Murray not too long ago. You know, I even got to interview one of my hometown legends, K Chill. I even got to meet him because Jobstown put me in the mix. So shout out to Jobstown over at My Skin Is My Sin on Blog Talk Radio. Go show the boys some love. My other homie DJ KBA, Knowledge Born Allah. You know what I'm saying? I've got to interview a lot of people over there. You know, a lot of Wu affiliates. You know, Wu-Tang affiliates. I mean, what was it? Wu Syndicate, Judah Priest. I've interviewed Shogun Assassin, you know, a few times, and you know, even without me, he's done, you know, some big things. He had Buddha Monk over there. He had Killer Priest over there. So, you know, over at Do the Knowledge Radio, also on Blog Talk Radio, go show the boys, go show the homies some love. Go show them some, and make sure you tell your homies to come show me some love. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, get on them notifications, because the stuff that I'm giving is it's important. If you really trying to make something of your music, there's things you need to know. And I wish that I had somebody sitting up telling me, hey man, you better do this before you go do that. You better go do this, boy. So, you know, take it for what it is. I appreciate whoever's watching this. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate it. You know, and you know, like I said, I'll do the performance rights organizations and more in depth on the split sheets in the next video. But until then, it's your boy Killer. You know, and I'll holler at you later. All right then.